everybody. Good morning to you all. It is Figured Out Friday, Memorial Weekend. Memorial Weekend. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to you. Woo! I made it. I made it. What's up, Danny? Good luck on your thesis today, girl. Good luck to you on that. She just sent me a nice little text message. Prayers for you. Wishing you favor on that. Robin, phew, let me just tell you all, if you want a high power, fast talker, you got to pay attention because she moves in 13 different subjects. I thought I talk fast. I'm like, Robin, hold on. Just give me a minute here. I gotta think about what you just told me. All right, Brock. Anyway, so what I was gonna do, I'm like, holy smokes. But if you want that, go talk to Robin. She will get you riled up this morning. What up, Kevin Jones? Good morning to you all. Good morning. Antoinette, good morning to you. What up, Wendy? Good morning, Karen. Good morning to you all. Put good morning in the chat. Put good morning in the chat. All we got a special guest for you today. For those of you who haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Brock Zevan's YouTube channel, go to it so you can listen to the recording. We have show notes, we got links, and today we got a special guest. We're going to have her book. We're going to have her links and how you can reach out to her. So make sure you're paying attention to that. And if you're not on the Facebook page, you need to also go join the Brock Zevan's Mindset Motivational Facebook group page so you can be part of that too. So, what up, Rebecca? Good morning to you, Michelle. Good morning to everybody. So, my name is Coach Brock Zevan, life coach, business coach, real estate coach, and a DAD. I don't have the kids this weekend, Kevin. I do not have the kids this weekend. So it is just kind of like this is the weekend where I can get in trouble. Okay. The weekend I can get in trouble because I tend when I'm by myself, I like to work and I gotta like remember to relax. But I'm gonna say this to all real estate agents. Okay. Here's my little coaching tip. Okay. Coaching tip coming to you. This weekend will make or break your summer. This weekend will make or break your summer. If you want to party, play, and sit by the pool and enjoy barbecues, you certainly may do so. But just know that probably the rest of your summer, you're going to be poor. This is the best weekend. If you make your phone calls Saturday between 9 and 11 and Monday between 9 and 11, you will have the highest conversion, the highest engagement because people are home. And I'm telling you to talk to people. I'm telling you to call people. There's a lot of expires out in this world. And if you know what to say, you got the right questions, you can make a lot of money this weekend. So just plan it out. Just plan out your weekend. Look at it. That's all you got to do. I'm still going to go to cookouts and barbecues. I got 4 graduation parties, but I'm going to work till 12, Monday and Saturday. It's not a problem. I'll still be okay. I will be alive. But so just my little coaching tip on that. So good morning, everybody. Boy, do I got a good guest today. I got her book already right here. Embrace, Empower, Evolve. And one of the cool things about Kendra Cooke, she doesn't know this. I was a little intimidated by her. She's a powerful woman. And I had to go into her coaching office, which she was right next. I was at Keller Williams. And Rick Ruby, she worked with Howe. She worked with Chad Lubin. She worked with these powerhouse people. And when I say powerhouse people, they're making 7 figures off. They're making big time money. And I went in there and this office was amazing. And I remember how he would walk around. He'd be like, this is Kendra Cooke's office. I'd be like, whoa, really? And so like I'm just getting in my sobriety. I freaking don't know my ass from my elbow. I'm just trying to like see clearly. And he's like, this is Kendra Cooke. This is Rick Ruby's office. This is where they meet. And we open up this huge room. He had these garage doors that opened up into this big conference room. And I remember she came in and I had my team. They were phenomenal over there. They're like, Brock, bring your team. We'll coach your team up. I was like, really? Okay. And we sat down and she was just like fire. And I was so attracted to that because I was like, damn, she's really good. Like I want to do what she's doing. I had no clue what the hell I was doing, but I was just like, I want to do what she's doing. I liked what she was doing. But I was very intimidated by her because I was so impressed by her, the knowledge that she had and the way she was running the show and the ship that she was doing. I was so like, wow, I was impressed. I was everything. And so we kind of went in our different directions, and I found out she was in Florida, and then we reconnected, and then she sent me her book, and she put into this nice little, she even wrote in the book, and I was like, wow, I can't believe Kendra Cooke. And I said, God, the alignment that you have for me is just amazing that it recircled back into my life, Kendra Cooke. And then her and I met like a couple weeks ago on Zoom. I was on spring break and I was like, I'd love to have you on my show. It worked out perfectly. So, guys, to the rock star, to a coach, to a powerful woman, please put some hearts. Please put a high five. Get some claps going here for Miss Kendra Cooke. Good morning to you, Kendra.
Morning. How is everybody? So excited to be here.
Well, you were just with one of our guests that we had, Amberly Lago. You were down in Texas with her, weren't you? And you've been
I
working with
was.
her.
Yes, actually, she's coaching me right now. So the coach still has a coach. How about that?
You have to. That's actually one of my questions. If you're ever looking for a coach, all you need to ask that coach, are you being coached?
hmm
Because it's
Absolutely.
it like you all need to be coached up. I always say this. Tom Brady, okay, greatest probably of all time. He has like four coaches. He's got an offensive coordinator coach, he's got a quarterbacks coach, he's got a weight training coach, he's got a head coach, and he's the greatest. So you always want to be coached up. You always want to be working on yourself. So that is awesome to hear.
Hey,
So,
Brock, can I interrupt?
well, you go right ahead, Michelle. This is
I'm
Michelle. What
so
do you got for us?
excited, Kendra. I missed you. I was at the same event in Dallas that you were at. And I have a meeting with Amberly next week. I happen to live very close to her. So I'm so excited for you. You're going to be amazed by the things that are going on with Amberly. So,
Yeah.
oh,
Thank you. Yes, she's amazing. I'm so grateful that she's coaching me right now.
Yeah. So walk us a little bit through your journey of where you are today. Kind of give us that 10,000-foot overview that you got, Kendra.
Okay, well, at 18, I left a little farm in Southern Illinois and moved to Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, and thought I was going to be a law student. And as God would have it, He placed me on a weekend receptionist job in a real estate office. And just like all of us on this call, somebody probably saw something in you that you did not see in yourself. And so the owner of the company and his wife would come in every Sunday and bring leftovers from their lunch after church for the starving, college student. And he kept saying, "You're going to be a great real estate agent." I said, "You're crazy. I'm going to make a ton of money as a as somebody in a law office and a lawyer." And he kept on and kept on, and he made me an offer that was basically when I couldn't pass up. And he said, "If you'll come to work here full time for one semester and go to school at night, if you don't love it, I'll write you a check for your next semester." And that's all she wrote. I did one semester in 2 days. In my second semester, I quit school. And so I've been in the real estate business since I was 18 years old. So I started as a receptionist and worked my way all the way up to owning my own brokerage, which I sold in 2017. So I'm still licensed. We were just talking about continuing ed, Brock and I were. So I'm grandfathered. I probably don't have to do as much as some of you, but I keep my license. I send a ton of referrals. But as I stepped out of real estate, I've been coached and I was an independent coach. And so, as Brock alluded to, I moved to Charlotte to really help grow one of the most elite coaching companies in the country by traveling and speaking and being the head coach there. And, and in 23, I decided I was going to step out of that and just retire. And 3 weeks into retirement, I was like, this is not for me. Let me write a book. And, the joke in our family and in our sphere and our circle now is I'm busier now than I've ever been, but I'm in a different busy. I am living on fire and on purpose for what God has for me. And I don't work anymore. I just live at the highest level of energy and efficiency. And I'm just blessed to be where I am. So that's kind of my 10,000-foot view.
That is awesome. It's funny how God aligns us up with that. And we've all heard this. We've all heard the saying, "I don't work because I love what I do. It
Mhm.
doesn't feel like work." And when you get to that point, because unfortunately, where's Chad Free? I don't know what the exact statistic is. I want to say it's like 87% or 85% of people really don't like their job. They moan and groan. They go through the motions. So when you find the job you truly love to do, it doesn't become a job. It just becomes your life. And that's why, like, I'm so blessed. Like, I'm so thankful to have these type of figured out Fridays where I get to speak to so many amazing people all around the country, like yourself. And so, before I get into your figured out moment, I want everybody to really stop what they're doing to lean into this conversation because there's something on the back of the book that really, I've been hearing a lot of people fighting this. And so you stated these things in the back of the book. You said overcoming self-doubt and peeling back layers of perfectionism. I don't know what it is. Maybe this alignment was supposed to happen today, but I've probably had 6 conversations this week of people who don't understand that the worst enemy to completion is perfectionism.
Mhm.
It's a very hard thing. And it drives me insane when people say, well, Brock, before I can do this, I have to do this, this. No, you don't. You don't have to do that. And so when I read that, I was just like, wow, how ironic is that? I've been dealing with that today with coaching people. And then you said learning to live authentically. Many of us live a fake life because we think that that's going to impress somebody or do something or whatever else. So I just thought that those 3 things, all, if you are in those elements, you need to get this book. But not but. So Kendra, as I started that intro, because I was really fascinated by that because of just what I was dealing with this week, as you were figuring this out, I mean, you were 18 years old. I mean, God bless you for doing all that stuff. I mean, at 18, that was the last thing that I had on my mind was like work and real estate and everything else. I was, I was playing horseshoes. Cornhole really wasn't a big thing. I was playing horseshoes in college. Walk us through some of your figuring out moments that in this book and in what it is that you want to share with us today and like some moments that you really had to kind of dive deep and really figure out yourself.
It's a great question. I was thinking about that. And I think for me, being young, you don't know what you don't know. So you're just going through the motion and you're grasping at everything that you can grasp to be successful and pay your bills. And while living in survival, as we all do when we start our career, you make some bad choices and you accept some bad habits, and they just continue to build. And so as I left the receptionist position, became an administrative assistant, and they continued to pour into me, and I kept growing momentum. I stepped out on my own and got licensed, and I really didn't know what I didn't know. And I want you to go back to 1996 in your mind. For some of you, you're like, oh my gosh, I was in high school. But for myself,
That's what I did. I was a senior. I was getting ready to graduate in
thanks,
96.
Brock. I appreciate that. But for me, I didn't know what I didn't know, but I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have GPS. And so I'm running off of Google Maps and a beeper, and then went into a Nextel. You guys are like, what the heck's a Nextel? But as the momentum came, I went in survival mode. My husband lost his job at one point in time, and it fueled my fire that I can't let our family go backwards. And so I started adopting some really, really, really bad habits. If you read the book, you'll be like, holy cow, she looks sweet and innocent. And I wasn't. I was sneaking out of bed at night for my husband and going to my office to work at 2 or 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning because I had already, really destroyed our family by working at home. And so he had asked me to move my computer out of our home and be present. And I wasn't. And so I did that. And then I was quite honestly addicted to my work. And I just couldn't leave it. I wanted to live at a high level at home, but I also wanted to serve my purpose with my clients. And I lived in a lot of fear. And so it drove me to just go, kind of out of, I wasn't addiction of alcohol or drugs, but it was addiction of working and the accolades and everybody thinking you're the best. And so he, after the second ultimatum, gave me the third ultimatum, and it was get it fixed or I'm leaving. And I'm proud to say, after 29 years, we had our anniversary last Sunday of 29 years married together, 30, we figured it out. But I always say probably the most pivotal point for me was admitting I didn't have all the answers and seeking help. And we kind of talked about this a few minutes ago, but I hired a coach. That's how I found the coaching company that I went to work for. And it was literally, I had 30 days to figure it out. And I hit my knees and prayed to God, like, help me save this situation. I had a small child, my husband I was wildly successful, but in a really ugly way. I did not want anyone to pull back the curtain because out front I had the nice car and the pretty face, and I was on billboards. And then when you pulled back the curtain, I was a disaster. Working too many hours. I was super unhealthy. I was overweight. I didn't like myself. I was living in fear. I said I was a Christian. I was not relying on my faith. And so, by the grace of God, He put somebody in my life, and they invited me to an event. And I went to the event, and it was one of those I can't afford to do it, and I can't afford not to. And with my husband's support and a lot of faith, I jumped in, and it was the most expensive thing I could have done in my career. And it absolutely changed my life. So I
Can I
would say,
ask you a question real quick on
yeah,
that?
please.
Because there's many people on here right now, whether they want to acknowledge it, not acknowledge it. I mean, you all know my story, being broke and trying to figure it out in that moment. But you said something on here, because I do hear it often as we have our success summit in Key West in 2 months. I hear, Brock, I can't afford it.
Mhm.
I can't afford to go down there. I can't afford the ticket. I can't afford the flights. I can't afford the food. I can't afford the hotel. I can't afford to be away from my family. I can't but you said you can't afford not to.
Sure.
Walk through that mental process for you of like how you dove in. I know you said faith, but what else was going on in your mind during that time period? Because we hear that many times, because inflation, the credit cards are high. I mean, our financial economy is in a tailspin, and people are trying to figure out their financials. And, as you know, the transaction count is much lower than it's been the last 2 years in the real estate industry. And there's not that abundance. I mean, so walk us through kind of that mindset of like, I can't afford to, and I can't afford not to. What pushed you over the edge to just be like, damn, I just got to do it?
Couple things. When I looked at the sacrifice of putting it on a credit card and learning how to do things different to simplify my life, that was I can't afford not to, right? And so I think that we, as high D personalities, or even high I, if I'm talking about the DISC test, if you haven't taken that, most of us are drivers or influencers. I was influencing people, but it was a lie. And I'm like, gosh, I'm really good closing 200 houses as a disaster. If I learned how to attract business versus chase it, and I learned the way to do it on a 45-hour, 50-hour work week versus an 80-hour work week, and I saved my family and I surrender to a better process, how much better would my life be? And so, in my mind, as I discussed it with myself and then with my husband, it was a short term pain for a long term gain. And
Mm.
so I think that sometimes we have to sacrifice things in the moment, like go knock doors versus send a geographic mail that's so expensive, or pick up the daggum phone because you're going to pay for your cell phone anyway, versus placing an ad in this high gloss magazine that somebody may or may not see, right? Humble yourself. When you're on the phone with people who already have a relationship with you that know, like, and trust you, to ask them for your help. Hey, is there any way you can help me? I'm looking for a client that fits this need, or I'm looking for someone who's interested in selling their house in the next 6 months that I can build a relationship with while they're preparing their house to sell. Will just be honest. When you express what you want, put it out in the universe, God
Mhm.
will provide it. But sitting it in your heart and letting it become resentful, or you start disrespecting people that have the things that you want, but you're not changing, you're not surrendering to something different, shame on us. And I was that person. I'm like, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Well, clearly I wasn't figuring it out at the expense of losing a lot of family and love and my life at the expense I was going. I had to change. And so the I would just say, just keep reminding yourself, if you don't change, if you don't feel some pain and you don't change, there will be no growth.
Mm.
Period.
I don't know. Wow. It's so true. Like pain is just part of the process. I put a note down here, what it triggered when you said the phone, because people want to spend money on like frivolous things, thinking like that's the shiny object. Put a 7 in the chat. How many of you got unlimited planning, like unlimited text, unlimited minutes? I know, remember back in the day, like they used to have these different plans. How many of you, put a 7 in the chat, have unlimited plan, like unlimited everything? Put a 7 in the chat. Okay. So Kendra, we see that everybody's got sevens. So just to let you know all, they don't limit your phone calls. You're going to pay the same bill all, whether you make 20 phone calls or if you make 2,000 phone calls.
Right.
It's the same bill. The only thing that changes is the person who presses the buttons on the phone on where you want to make your money. I thought that was very, very important that you said, Kendra. It's like, look at what you have, put it out in the universe. Look at the tools and the resources that you have already to you. Stop looking for something else. So, Kendra, I'll let you continue. Sorry, I interrupted you. Sorry, go ahead.
You did. No, I was done. That was perfect. That was perfect. But I will say the one thing that I will say, not in a bragging mindset, but in a factual one, is I've never bought a lead. So I don't know how to cold call. So when I say pick up the phone, I'm relying on people who know, like, and trust me, who I have a relationship with.
Mm,
And so talking about the phone is when you ask people for help, people who know, like, and trust you want to help you. They're not going to say no. They're going to say, what do you need? Right? Just like you're going to do if somebody calls you. So I think the humility comes when we accept the fact that we are liked and we are experienced and that people do trust us. So when we ask for their help and we put that out there, it comes back tenfold. In 2016, my team and I sold 363 houses in 365 days, and it was an 8-person team,
mm.
100% referred, 100%, unless they called off of a sign or something. But we didn't buy leads. And I made a lot of mistakes in my career buying billboards and things like that, but I've never bought cold call leads. And when I realized after starting to track my leads that everything was coming warm, I eliminated everything and just got on the phone. So we're going to pay the phone bill anyway. So get on the phone.
So true. So true. I mean, and you guys, we have a great weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. Wishing people happy Memorial Day weekend. Just asking what like. That's been what are you doing this Memorial Day weekend? Like literally, that is my question that I ask. What are you doing this weekend? How are you celebrating the holiday? You spending time with family? What does that look like to you? These are just generalized questions, all that you can ask. So, Kendra, I know you got the book. You're working with Amberly.
Yep.
You're doing a lot of different things. You and I got to talk the other week. You're speaking, you're coaching, a lot more speaking, if anything. Tell us what you're trying to figure out today. What does that look like to you today? What are you figuring out? What are some of the things you're working with?
Thank you for asking that. I'm betting on myself again. How about that? So, the one thing that I would say is, when you get very comfortable in our career, which I was in real estate, I felt like I had a master's degree, right? Started at 18, went for over 30 years. So, I felt like that was mastered. I got into coaching. I was very fearful when I started coaching. I was like, oh my gosh, what if I let somebody down? What if I say the wrong thing? And I feel like I became a pretty good master coach, coached a lot of the top realtors around the country, $1 million and up earners, and that's net income, not GCI. And as I decided to step out and write this book, I really didn't know what the future looked like. And I'm still speaking, but a totally different arena. And so what I'm working on now is speaking to, groups of realtors, groups of women, groups of, companies that need leadership training, creating winning cultures, things like that, which I absolutely love. I have a women's retreat that I do twice a year, really empowering women to find their voice and become CEO of their life, which I think is so empowering, especially if you have daughters that are coming up. So I'm really excited about that. And just really enjoying life. I think there's probably another book in here somewhere at some point in time, not for a couple of years, but just being on purpose and on fire to help other people grow, and just betting on myself again.
Yeah. We had a couple people ask, tell us a little bit about this retreat.
Yeah. So it is 3 days. It's in Orlando. I do it at the Evermore Resort. It's very small. It's about 15 to 16 women. We come together. We stay in a big house and we do yoga in the morning. We take afternoon walks, and it's really more like a mastermind. I throw out a topic, and wherever it goes, it goes. We have a hospitality assistant in the home. She does all the cooking, cleans up all the mess. So we're just there in yoga pants and having a great time and just really elevating each other. We have some games that we play, and really just a place for women to go and be a mom, be empowered, be a sister, be an employee, be a leader, whatever they're working on, and just meet some dynamic women from across the country. So the one in October is sold out. already. But if you are interested in getting on the wait list, you can email me, kendra@kendracooke.com, or you can visit my website and get more information, which is just kendracooke.com.
We just put the link in the chat for some of you that have been texting and messaging in the chats here as well. We have several people on here from the Orlando area that are on here. I'm blessed to be able to have them on the show here. It's I think the mastermind concept is probably one of the best concepts because it really allows people to be vulnerable. I know this is going to sound really silly, all, but AA meetings are kind of masterminds, all.
Mhm.
They're really masterminds of people telling their problems and sharing, like, I have this going, I have this going on. But it's one of the longest organizations that are around and that people go to. And taking that concept and putting it into a conference in especially around the same environment, I think women in itself, they feel a little bit more um like just being in that group, it's like, oh damn, I'm going through the same thing. I'm doing the same thing. And it just and it's so important. So guys, I'm telling you, like getting into these type of things, don't worry about the money. Just get yourself around that environment. Just get on the wait list. If it's meant to be, God will get you there. So just have that opportunity all to get there. I'm going to challenge you to do that. So before we leave, Kendra, what's the one thing? This is my favorite question. What's the one thing you'd like to leave us with today? What would be that one thing to share with our audience today?
I would say bet on yourself. I think that there's so much information that comes to us, whether it's through news or media or social media. If there is something in your heart that you're like, gosh, I've always wanted to write a book, or gosh, I've always wanted to have a mastermind. Two people are a mastermind. Just don't get in your head and don't let fear stop you from living your life the one that you want to create, because without the momentum behind it, you're going to stay exactly where you are. So I just challenge you to bet on yourself, go follow that dream, stretch yourself a little bit, spend money, go to Brock's event. I already told him I wish I wasn't speaking or I was going to come join you guys. But I will make one of those very soon. But just bet on yourself. Trust in that you've got what you need, and give it some, put some prayer behind it, and go to work and just create the life that, the authentic life that you really want to live, not somebody else's.
Amen. I think betting on yourself is such a huge thing. Like I love when it's all on me because I get to control me. It's such a huge thing, all. So if you take your notes, just write down on yourself, bet on me. Just write it down, 5 times. I just used to tell my players, write this play down 5 times, say it 5 times, and then tell somebody it 5 times. It'll make you remember the play. It'll make you remember what it is that you have going on and say it throughout the day. So I'm going to open it up. Does anybody got a question? Does anybody have anything that they would like to say here before we let Kendra go? While you're thinking about it, we do have all her information on the chat here, but unmute yourself if you like to say something or to put your hand up. I don't know those emojis on there. Rebecca Black, what do you got for us, Rebecca?
Well, I have in my hands here Kendra's book. I love it. And Kendra, one thing that I love, and this is on page 49 in the part of Let It Go, is when you talk about people's opinions, where she says there's a delicate balance between recognizing that people's opinions of you do not matter, but also wanting your name to stand for something good. And so I love that. And I would love for you just to kind of give like a little tiny snippet to everybody on here about that, because I think that that's really powerful in everybody's next season of life.
Yeah, so people ask me all the time, what's your favorite chapter in the book? And it's your name. I was raised on a farm, very simple parents, and my dad always told us you come into the world with nothing and you leave with nothing. And so what you do while you're here is your name, right? And so I've always wanted to live my life on purpose, but more importantly, with integrity. And I will tell you, as I became wildly successful, there were all kinds of not nice rumors about me. Oh, she probably slept her way to the top. I mean, everything you could imagine, right? That people say. And, her builder this and all of those things. And at the end of the day, I just had to tune all that out and say, you know what, when I get home at night, when I can look at myself in the mirror and say, hey, I was honest, I was authentic, I was myself, I didn't do anything illegal or immoral, then you can't worry about what other people say. However, the flip side to that is I want people saying nice things about me, like Brock and like Rebecca and all of you. But that's why I just live very out loud and very on purpose and very authentically. So if you're going to fill in the gaps, most people are going to, if they know me, are going to know that it's going to be hard for you to make something up that's not ethical or honest about me, because that's not how I live my life. So letting the bad stuff go, embracing the wonderful things that people say about you, and just living on purpose, I think is the best way to balance my name being good and not worrying about other people's opinion.
I love it. I wrote down this while you were saying. I said, I loved your line. Says, I live out loud.
Mhm.
I actually turned it into an affirmation for myself. I live out loud, and there's nothing wrong with living out loud.
No.
In I think I was talking to Robin. Robin was getting, and she won't care that I say this. She was getting a complaint against her. I guess somebody filed a complaint, and I said, "That is awesome." She's like, "Rock, I just said somebody filed a complaint." I said, "That's because you're doing something. You
Right.
if you do enough business," I said, "you're gonna have people gonna complain about you. You're gonna have." I mean, unfortunately, I got a little resume book myself, but you're doing something. Not everybody's gonna like what you have to say, and
Right.
that's why I love you're living out loud. And what I love that line, guys. What a show. Put some hearts in the chat. Put some fives in the chat. Put some hearts in the chat to show Kendra how much we loved her being out here today. I appreciate you all. Thank you guys so much. Kendra, thank you so much for your time. We're going to have all Kendra's information on the YouTube channel. It will be in the Facebook group. We'll have her book there. We'll have her links there. We're just so blessed to have you, Kendra. Thank you for taking time this morning.
Thank you so much. And I am honored to be here and wish all of you the best of luck. Enjoy your weekend, work hard, play hard, and live out loud. Thank you guys so much.
Guys, have a great weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekend. And just because it's a holiday on Monday, you know my rules. If I drank that ends in a day in Y, I could do something good that ends in a day in Y. So I'll be here Monday morning at 8:15 on Memorial Day. Come join me for our mindset show. I will be your host. God bless you all. Be safe this weekend. Enjoy your family time. For all of you that got graduation parties, family gatherings, enjoy yourselves. Talk to people. Ask them questions. Guys, appreciate you all. Love you. Thank you, Kendra.
Bye, guys.
See
Thank
ya.
you.